Today we're unboxing a package of 3 iPhones that I got on eBay for only $50. I didn't see any signs that these were running their original version of iOS, but each one includes its original box. So I should have the iPhone 3G, the iPhone 3GS, and an iPhone 5. The 3GS and iPhone 5 were listed as used, but the 3G was listed as for parts. The seller also said that he included some extras, so I'm really excited to get this opened up. So it looks like the seller included an Apple Watch band, also an AirPods case, looks like a screen protector for the iPhone 15 Pro Max. This is my favorite so far, an Apple polishing cloth that has never been opened. These are like $20 still in the Apple Store. A stand for the Apple Watch that makes it look like a vintage Mac. I'm super excited about these accessories that the seller included, especially this Apple Watch band. This is definitely an OEM band. And I think that concludes the extras. I see the 3 phone boxes now. And here we have the iPhone themselves. So yeah, we have 3 black models here, looks like. The 3G is a 16 gigabyte, the 3GS is 32 gigabytes, and the 5 is 16 gigabytes. Let's take a look at the iPhone 3G first. This one was listed as for parts by the seller, although they did not give specific details about what was wrong with the device. And here it is. Looks like we have a device with a screen protector. I thought I saw that in the photo, and it has a case. So let's go ahead and remove this case just to see the true condition of the device. And it looks like we do have some scratches, but thankfully it looks like there are no cracks in the plastic near the charger. These were super prone to that. Looks like no accessories in the box, but we do have some literature here. Oh, this is nice. We also get a SIM card ejection tool. Apple used to include these. So we have the product information guide, some Apple stickers, and the fingertips manual. We also have an iPhone cleaning cloth here. This looks like it has never been used. I have never had one of these before, so that's great. With that out of the way, let's see if this iPhone will accept a charge. And looks like it is accepting a charge. We'll set this one to the side and take a look at the 3GS. And looks like we have yet another device with a screen protector and a case. Unfortunately, I see a bad sign here. There is no 32 gigabyte capacity designation here on the bottom of the device, which means that this is unfortunately an 8 gigabyte model. We'll still get this case pulled off anyway. And looks like this one is in a little bit rougher condition, but thankfully no cracks on the bottom either. So no accessories in the box, no SIM ejection tool or any literature with this one. So a little bit disappointing that this one is not a 32 gigabyte model as the box would suggest, but this one was listed as used, so let's see if it has any battery power. And it does have battery power. These iPhone 3GS models topped out at iOS 6, so hopefully this one was not fully updated, just so we might have something a little rare here. And unfortunately, we do launch into the iOS 6 setup here. You can tell it's iOS 6 because it has the slide to set up on device, and iOS 5 would have a little lock icon up here on top. So this phone does not seem very special, but we'll go ahead and set it up anyway. Okay, so yeah, as suspected, this is definitely iOS 6. And yeah, unfortunately, this is a fully updated 6.1.6 8 gigabyte model. I have an update here on the iPhone 3G, so despite this being listed as for parts, it has powered on. It looks like we are on the iOS 4 activation screen, so this is probably updated all the way to iOS 4.2.1. So we'll put both of those to the side again and take a look at this iPhone 5 here. And okay, so we have another device here with a screen protector. This one has significantly more wear on the screen protector than the others. However, the back here is in fantastic condition. We'll take a look at the accessories here for the iPhone 5 now. Okay, looks like no accessories in the box, but there seems to be some literature here. So we have the quick start guide, warranty info, and some Apple stickers. So this device was also listed as used, so let's see if it has any battery power. And looks like it needs to be charged. So while this iPhone 5 is charging, let's go ahead and activate that iPhone 3G on iOS 4. Looks like I'm getting an activation error here, so I think I need to insert an AT&T SIM card. It's kind of crazy how large these SIM cards were. So even with that SIM card installed, I am still getting an activation error, and it looks like the phone may not be reading the SIM cards. So this is starting to make sense. The seller may have listed this for parts because the device cannot read a SIM card. But while that's going on, I noticed that the iPhone 5 finally powered up here, and I am super excited with what I see. So basically, I could tell right away that the font here is the Helvetica New, which it was used on iOS 7 and iOS 8. So let's go ahead and slide to set up here. I'm really hoping that this is maybe on an early version of iOS 7. Okay, and the moment of truth, here we go. Okay, I can tell right away that this is iOS 8, but fortunately it does not look like iOS 8.4 or 8.4.1. I can tell that by the red music icon here. Okay, looks like we are on 8.3 here. So nothing too crazy exciting, but at least this version cannot be downgraded to. Okay, it's a little bit later in the day now, and I have got all three iPhones set up here. So we'll start off here with the iPhone 3G. I was actually able to downgrade this device to iPhone OS 2.2.1. I used Legacy iOS Kit to get this done. The downgrade failed the first few times, but I was able to get it running using the exit recovery mode function. And somewhere along the way, this device's SIM card reader must have started working because it now says no service. And I did sync my entire music library to this phone. I was also able to get these two applications installed. I have an older laptop with a version of iTunes that allows app syncing, so that's how I was able to get these installed. This water slide game was my absolute favorite back in the day. I love to use cover flow on these older iPhones. It's so satisfying to me that I was able to downgrade to the same iOS version as depicted on the box here. And the fact that this box included that really rare iPhone microfiber cleaning cloth is awesome. So now let's take a look at the iPhone 3GS. I actually removed the screen protector from this device just because it was pretty badly misaligned, and that unfortunately revealed a ton of scratches on the actual display. At the beginning of the video, the device was running iOS 6.1.6, but I was able to downgrade it to iOS 4.1 because that version is actually signed with iTunes. And iOS 4 was technically the original version for this 8GB variant of the iPhone 3GS. And that's because Apple released this smaller storage configuration at a cheaper price when the iPhone 4 was released. I also synced a portion of my music library to this device. And I was able to sync these apps from my computer that are compatible with iOS 4. I remember spending hours playing this paper toss game. I am slightly disappointed that this device is not the matching 32GB unit that would go with this box. And now for the iPhone 5. I actually removed the screen protector from this device as well, and thankfully that revealed an absolutely flawless condition display. So this device is running iOS 8.3, which I will definitely be leaving it on. Thankfully it wasn't updated to iOS 10, so I didn't have to mess with downgrading it or anything. This is currently the oldest version of iOS where the App Store works, so I downloaded these applications from my Purchase tab. I also did sync my music library to this device because this version, 8.3, was actually the last version to feature cover flow. So I believe that about wraps up my video on these 3 boxed iPhones that I got for only $50. I would say overall, these definitely exceeded my expectations. I'm especially pleased with the iPhone 3G here because this was listed as 4 parts. And I'm definitely thrilled with the extras that the seller included. I've never had one of these Nike sport bands, so it's really interesting to check this out. Be sure to get subscribed and stay tuned for my next videos. I have an iPhone 4 on iOS 4 on the way and also an iPhone 7 Plus on iOS 10. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.